It's Rick without the K. James presents, in my opinion, podcast.
Don't forget to hit the subscribe button, as well as the notification bell. Thank you for watching.
This is gonna be a weird question for you, DL, but I didn't shot a podcast last night. That's why I was stopping through. I went and shot a podcast because I live out in Central Valley,
Right.
and I came out here to do a podcast with a couple friends, and it was brought up on that documentary Fat Tuesdays about getting passed to the club, right? And I was like, I wonder if DL has never gotten passed to the club. That I said, because we had a big conversation, and I go, isn't that what we want? Is like, we want our picture on the wall, we want to sign something, we want to be a part of something, right? And I think I was the only one that said that last night on the podcast. and
I never belonged to that. Like, I loved Guy and I loved all those comics. I didn't go to Fat Tuesday because it would. I'd just be coming off the road, or I didn't go to, the improv, the places like that, because they were more or less workout rooms and where comics worked on material, where a lot of comics were. So it didn't seem as conducive as what I was trying to do. So I can't say that I put a lot of thought into. A chef don't cook for other chefs. He cooks for the people that come into his restaurant. Chefs don't hang around chefs just for the sake of hanging around chefs. Obviously, it's fun to do once in a while, but for me, it just didn't creatively satiate me. So I just wasn't an environment I spent a lot of time in. I love to be, on the road and having a good time in the green room, but all it, just going somewhere and working out for other comics hadn't appealed to me. So I missed a lot of those places, like the Fat Tuesdays and stuff like that.
Did you, because obviously you've probably done every club in the United States, right? Is there a favorite club that you have that you're like, man, every time I go there?
There are favorite people who run clubs. I think Tommy, I think Joel, a dude named Joel, a dude named Brian. There are, some really great people who are invested in the art of keeping comedy viable, and I always vibe with those people. And then there are people who is more transactional. So in my estimation, I like to be with people who love what I love and who are interested in keeping this art form viable. And so I'll play for people that one great thing is I play generally where I want to, and I try to stay away from the places I don't. That doesn't mean I don't ever play there. Sometimes time and circumstance have a way of putting you in situations you said you wouldn't be in, and so there's that. But I generally love the people I work for or with in terms of comedy and the places I go.
I wouldn't say do you prefer, but seeing that you've done like 100-seaters and you've done 15,000 seaters, you know what I mean, and plus, right? Because I want to say, if I got it right, that King's comedy tour, you guys are still at number one in ticket sales of any tour, right? So comedy tour, right? And just hearing something like that, where I look at it, where I'm like, man, I like a smaller room, but I've never done an arena, so who am I to ask, right? So
it's really the same thing. If you can swim in 5 feet of water, you can swim in 1,000 feet of water, right? Only difference is you can't put your feet on the ground, but you can. The dynamic is the same. You can swim in 5 feet of water. You can swim in 1,000 feet of water. I love the cathedrals of comedy. Whether they are theaters or corporations or casinos or clubs or corporate, it doesn't make a difference to me. I love the proscenium. I love being in a place, the church of comedy. I love being in it. And the church is the people. It's not the building. So that's my approach. That's what I believe. I believe it's the people that are gathered here to do this thing, or to see this thing, or to be a part of this thing. And that, to me, is way more important than whatever building that thing is encased in.
Boy, Charlie Murphy, my main man, Ric James. That's the one you think, the comedian Ric James. Get up.
I can't hear my neighbor crying, I can't breathe.
Don't forget to hit the subscribe button, as well as the notification bell. Thank you for watching.